Lesson 3: Kandy Wrappers. Upon successful completion of this lesson, you will be able to describe what a wrapper is, describe the main wrappers available, and identify business opportunities that can be addressed with the wrapper. During this lesson, we will be covering what Kandy wrappers are, and then we'll provide details on the available wrappers: Visual Attendant, Concierge, Live Support, including the Digital Cognitive Agent optional component, Track Roll, and Business Phone. Let's start talking about why Kandy wrappers, what they are, and the story behind why they were built. When Kandy was launched in 2014, we were targeting a model where we provide the APIs and SDKs, and then developers would come and start using them to build amazing applications. However, most of the customers we were facing were communication service providers, large enterprises, or independent software vendors that surely saw the value of the APIs and SDKs, but expressed to us that they didn't have time to build applications themselves, they didn't have the teams with the skills to do it, or they had the teams but they were already involved in other projects. Basically, they didn't have resources to build applications and go to market. Well, some of them couldn't figure out real-world applications from those APIs and SDKs. The result was that when we were trying to explain to them the wonderful things they could do with our platform, many of them stopped the discussion when we mentioned that they had to develop something. The words develop or build didn't go with them. And we started wondering what we could do for those customers that see the value of our APIs and SDKs, but don't know what to do with them, or they can't do anything with them because they don't have time or people. Well, we came with the idea of Kandy wrappers. We took typical use cases we were seeing in the market and we turned them into full prepackaged, fully functional applications which could be rapidly connected into the network and offered immediately to customers for a fast go-to-market. Having this prepackaged functionality built into applications provides several benefits. You can enable simpler, faster, cheaper development and deployment. You can differentiate product and service offerings. You can simplify engagement, communication, and collaboration. You can provide advanced customer service and concierge applications. You can quickly improve any application or business process and address any vertical: e-commerce, healthcare, enterprise, social network, collaboration, anything. The wrappers that we have at the moment are Business Phone, Concierge, Live Support with the Digital Cognitive Agent option, Track Roll, our real-time communication clients that we will review in a dedicated module, and Visual Attendant. As we saw before on this view of the platform, the wrappers are the layer that's running on top of the APIs and SDKs, and many of those wrappers have already been deployed out there. For example, Mastergy and Presetech have deployed Visual Attendant. Toy Genius is a toy store in New Jersey that has deployed Concierge to provide support to their online website from their brick-and-mortar stores. So when somebody has a question, they can go for a VIP shopping experience, and somebody from a real store gets on a video session with them and can show them toys and can provide advice. Innova ITC in Peru and Bolivia has deployed Live Support, and Atlas Communications in the US has deployed both Visual Attendant and Live Support. Finally, Business Phone is being deployed with communication service providers in North America, and we will be announcing names soon. One of the key values of wrappers is that you can overlay them over any existing service. For example, we offer them to our SIP trunking solutions customers as an easy way to increase the functionality being provided to enterprises to obtain new revenue or increase stickiness. If you are providing voice contact center services, you can overlay Live Support to elevate those contact center agents to video, chat, and screen sharing, or Visual Attendant to allow customers to call the right department or agent queue directly from the website without having to suffer the IVR frustrations. But that is not limited to SIP trunks. These services can also be overlaid on top of hosted SIP and TDM lines. The customers just need to have a broadband connection to the internet, and the vast majority of businesses today already have it. Now it's time to start digging into the details. Let's start with Visual Attendant and growing complexity from there. Visual Attendant is an application that includes two components: The first one would be the little button that you can put on a website. When you click on it, it gives you a menu. You're probably familiar with auto attendant menus. Welcome to the Paradise Hotel. If you want to talk to reservations, press 1. If you want to talk to hotel services, press 2. If you want to discuss a bill, press 3, and so on. You click on an option, and you get another submenu until you reach the final option that you want. And if you're lucky, you get connected to the right person. Otherwise, you need to hang up, redial, and start again. Well, Visual Attendant is similar. You click on Contact Us, or whatever name has been given to the Visual Attendant button, and it gives you menus with options. But you don't have to listen and wait until it's done. You get to see a click and point interface or touch and point interface if you're using a tablet. And at the end of the option tree is going to be a little icon for you to make a call. And that call is going to connect you directly to either the right person who is going to be solving your problem or the specific queue within the contact center that's going to have personnel which can help you with the problem. The other component of the solution, which is one of our differentiators, is the web portal. When you become a Visual Attendant customer, you get credentials to go into a web portal where you can build these menus. You build your different options, your submenus, you can rearrange them with drag and drop, you can give them names and descriptions, you can define the formatting, the color, the background, everything. Once you have everything done, you create the button. You give it a name, you give it a description, and at the end of the process, there is a button that says Generate Embed Code. Pressing it will generate 2 lines of JavaScript code that you can copy and paste into your website exactly where you want that Visual Attendant button to show up. And that's it. If you have ever inserted a YouTube video into a blog, you already have the skills required to put Visual Attendant into your website. It's that easy. Very, very easy. And you can do it in popular tools like Wix, Shopify, or GoDaddy. Basically, any web creation environment lets you put a little HTML frame or control somewhere to overlay content on top of your website. Just paste the auto-generated code on it, and you're ready to go. And if you need to modify the menus or the phone numbers assigned to the options, you don't need to edit your website anymore. You just modify the Visual Attendant settings using our Visual Attendant web portal. The embed code remains the same. If you want to make the customer experience even better, we have Concierge. Concierge provides an advanced VIP shopping and customer service experience for large organizations, such as service providers or resellers, because it requires integration with point-of-sale software that the store is using to monitor inventory on their brick-and-mortar stores or on their online stores. This allows Concierge to push product information to the customer and add products to the shopping cart. The example that we have is the Toy Genius example, where Concierge is integrated with their open cart point-of-sale platform. With Concierge, we can help the customer on our online store from one of our brick-and-mortar locations, or from a contact center, or even from a home office. The user clicks on a button on the website, and once the session is established, a video connection between customer and seller is started. The seller can help the customer by searching for products on the inventory on the customer's behalf. They can push product information, including videos, to the customer's browser. They can add elements to the shopping cart, or even help them through the checkout process by filling some of the form fields. Basically, we're giving a VIP, very assisted purchasing experience as if you were in the store, but you're doing it from the online website. And Concierge can also be used to provide customer service after the sale has happened. Here you have a quick view of the user experience. On the left-hand side, you have a button to click and start a live video. It goes over WebRTC, so it's going to remind you that you need to use microphone and speakers on the computer. Also, if you're not in a supported browser, it may prompt you to install a little plugin to enable the media. With Concierge, you get one or two-way video, but normally it starts as a one-way video communication with the person in the store showing their video to the customer, but the customer needs to manually activate the camera for privacy reasons. As we mentioned before, the agent can push product information, additional materials, videos, reviews, and navigate the user to help them make the purchase. Then they can guide them on to the checkout process where they can help the customer fill in the forms. The goal is to increase the chances that a visit turns into a sale. All the screens that you are seeing here are not demo screenshots. These are real screenshots from one of our customers, Toy Genius. They deployed the solution in their online store, toygenius.com. If you go there, you're going to see the VIP shopping experience button that they have implemented on the website. to allow their online store customers to have the same level of service they would get in their physical retail stores. And this VIP experience pays off because since Toy Genius deployed the service, they more than doubled the number of sales they do on the online store. And here you can see the agent experience, what the agent would see when they're helping the customer. They have all of the controls they may need to drive the customer interaction. They can check the inventory, they can search on behalf of the customer and push the results into the customer's view, add products to the shopping cart, and guide them through the checkout process. Everything needed to make sure the customer is satisfied and they get what they need to turn the website visit into a sale. The value proposition that Concierge brings to the table is twofold. For the VIP shopping service, it helps you engage the customer within the store so you can prevent them from jumping away from the store or having to go into a phone. And there are market studies that shows that many of your customers will drop off the shopping process when you tell them to go to a phone. Concierge also reduces the shopping cart abandonment. A lot of people will put things in the cart, but because they have questions or they are not sure that the product will fulfill their needs, they will abandon the cart. With Concierge, when they go into a VIP shopping experience, the number of people who abandon is reduced because they get help in context and they can get reassured that what they're trying to buy is what they want or what they need. Concierge also converts more visits into purchases because, again, whenever a customer has a question, they can just go and ask. They don't have to dig around documentation. They get the question answered, and when they're talking to a real person, it's much easier for them to feel confident and to buy. Concierge also increases the average order amount because it gives businesses opportunities to upsell other products. And finally, it also increases the customer's loyalty and trust because when you can see the person dealing with you is real, you feel more reassured about your choices. On the customer service or support scenario, the main advantage is that Concierge engages the customer live, which is a characteristic also shared with some of our other wrappers. Just being able to eliminate the IVR from the equation makes a complete difference. It also allows your customers to show rather than tell, because we're using video communication and they can point their camera into a problem, into an object, and get better help. For example, when they receive the shipment and something is damaged, they can just show the proof. Concierge lets support staff provide integrated support materials such as videos, manuals, and quick troubleshooting guides. This helps them reduce the time it takes to resolve the problem, because it's much faster when you can show than if you have to explain to a customer how they have to fix a cable or how to reassemble an item just by telling them over the phone with words. It also reduces the amount of times you're going to have to send a technician to the customer's premises, which is very costly. And just like the shopping experience, it increases the customer satisfaction and creates opportunities to upsell other products. Someone makes a call for a support issue, and they may end up buying something else because you got a chance to offer and demonstrate a product live to them. Now, Concierge is provided with a deep integration into the point-of-sale service of an online store. But when it comes to customer support, we have another wrapper that can easily be overlaid onto any existing solution. It is called Live Support, and we believe it provides the next level of immersive customer service. Live support seems very similar to Visual Attendant. Remember that we saw before that with Visual Attendant you could create a button that you could put on your website and that would allow you to call from the website into a phone number. That phone number could be any person. It could be a mobile user, it could be a landline user, or it could be a queue within a contact center. Well, with Live Support, we do the same thing. We have a portal for you to build your menus, to create your departments and your agents, and to assign them to departments. And in the end, you generate 2 lines of code that you can put in your website and provide that button. The difference here is that the connection between the user and the agent is no longer a phone call, but a full multimedia interaction between the user on the web browser and an agent that's running on another web browser using a web-based agent console that allows them to chat via text, share their camera, and see the customer's camera, share the files, share pictures, share videos, or even share their screen. This combination of media facilitates the resolution of the customer's issues. Here you can see a quick flow of what happens when a customer clicks on the Live Support button. On step 1, you see the first menu. In this example, it gives them the choice of sales or customer service. Then once they click on sales, they see enterprise sales, public sector sales, or other sales. If they select enterprise sales, it will ask them to provide their name, and they can also select if they want to do a text chat, a video chat, or a voice chat. All of these things are configurable. The business can then decide if they want to hard code a certain media on a certain option or just force the agent to decide which way they're going to respond. Once the user clicks on one of these options, they get added into a queue and they are informed every instant of which position they have in the queue, which helps to eliminate the anxiety of not knowing how long they're going to have to wait. And it reminds them also in which queue they're waiting. Now, when the session is answered, the agent can start with text chat and seamlessly scale it up to a voice or video call, and all of this happens within the browser. If the browser is WebRTC compatible, such as Chrome, Opera, or Firefox, it works directly within it. If the browser is not WebRTC compatible, such as Internet Explorer, the system will ask the user to install a plugin the first time they try to use live support. The website used to manage the agents and departments and create the live support button is very similar to the one available for Visual Attendant. This one just has more options because we're going to have to create departments and agents. We're going to group agents around departments, so we start by creating departments. You just have to give a name to each department. Then you create the agents. You give them first and last names, an email address, and then you decide if you're going to allow them to use video, voice, or chat, and other settings. Then you can assign them to the departments we created before. You can also create schedules for different business hours or different hours of operation. Next, you create the directories, which are the menus with options like we had in Visual Attendant. And in the end, you create the button, which is the actual element that's going to be attached to the website into that directory that we created earlier. Once you have done all these different steps, you click on a button that says Generate Embed Code, and just like we did with Visual Attendant, you copy those lines of code, place them into your website, and you have the live support button running. You're done. The live support portal has additional capabilities to get real-time statistics and historical reports on the agent's activities, but the menu and button creation processes are identical to Visual Attendant. Once the agents are created, they get a username and a password as well as a URL to access the agent console. And once they log in, this is what they see. A panel that has a list of queues on the left-hand side for text chat, video chat, and voice chat, or basically any incoming source of customers. They have a little control on top to manage their presence, so if they need to take a break, they can set themselves as unavailable. And on the right-hand side, they have a chat interface to talk to other agents within their office or company if they need help or support. And this panel also shows the presence of their peers. The middle section is where all the interaction with the customer happens. When an incoming session arrives, you click on one of those links and you get to see the customer information on top. And once you start the session with the customer, below you can manage the chat, the video, or the screen sharing that you do with them. It's very easy and very intuitive. There is nothing to install for voice and video communications. However, there is one exception. You have to install a little plugin to enable the screen sharing because the WebRTC browsers do not support sharing content that happens outside the browser. So to allow the browser to access other applications or the entire computer screen, you're going to have to install a little browser extension. If it's not installed, the first time an agent tries to start a screen share, a prompt will appear automatically asking to install it. Live support can optionally be enhanced with a digital cognitive agent. In these days, chatbots and artificial intelligence are starting to have a lot of importance in the market because there are a lot of low-level repetitive tasks that are being answered by people who are basically just reading a script like a machine. This is not good for customer satisfaction. Well, with DCA, instead of having those people reading a script, you can train them to solve more complicated customer issues and let a machine answer those simple questions. The digital cognitive agent provided as an option for live support uses IBM Watson's artificial intelligence to provide a chatbot that interacts with the customers directly through a chat channel, and if at some point the bot is not resolving the issues, it can do an automatic escalation into a live support human agent to continue the support with the customer and resolve the issue. And this diagram shows it better. We call it reintroducing the human factor. With DCA, the user flow can change a little. On the left-hand side, you have the user that's connecting to the business using popular messaging channels. At the moment, we support Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Slack, and our own Kandy chat interface. That user is going to be connecting to the digital cognitive agent, and to do so, they simply look for a user with their messaging platform. For example, in the case of Facebook, they can look for the DCA Live agent. The users start a conversation just like they would do with any other person. In fact, depending on how you train the bot, they don't need to know they're not talking to a person. You can encode the questions and answers so that the bot resembles a person. When the user asks a question, for example, I need to change my password, the bot goes into the database and finds the right link or the right procedure to solve that issue, and feeds the response back to the customer. So simple queries such as, I want to see my last bill, or I want to change my password, or I want to open a bank account, things that you could accomplish using the business self-service tools, can be handled by the bot instead of having to involve a person, which is going to be more cost-efficient for the business. But if for some reason the answers that the bot is providing are not satisfying the customer, or IBM Watson, which is monitoring that interaction with the customer, detects that the customer's mood is deteriorating, it triggers an automatic escalation to a live support human agent and transfers the chat transcript to the human. Again, depending on how you train the bot, you can decide to let the customer know that you're going to be transferring them into a human by saying something like, would you like to talk to an agent? Or provide the illusion of continuity by asking, would you like to go into an interactive session? That way, they don't know they weren't talking to a human when they click on the link they receive, and they get connected to a person using live support who gets the chatbot transcript and reviews it so that they don't have to ask the user again for the information or ask them to describe the problem that they need solving, and they can jump into solving the problem straight away. Now, the Live Support Administration portal has a mechanism to feed new questions to the bot, so if some topics are starting to appear frequently for the human agents, the administrators can train the bot to handle them and reduce the human agent's workload. That means, as you can see in this graphic, that the threshold of kicking into a live agent is going to be pushed to the right. So all the simple or routine questions are going to be answered automatically by the bot, and all the more esoteric or rare questions are going to be answered by a human, helping the business to focus their resources on the complicated tasks and specialize their workforce, optimizing their contact center or their support personnel resources. The value proposition of Live Support's digital cognitive agent is very wide. First, it can scale during peak demand. Today, when you have a contact center, you have to dimension it based on the number of requests that you're going to get. But because this is a bot, it can scale automatically. You can start on Monday, for example, with 20 customers, and you can go on Tuesday with 1 million customers, and it would still work. You wouldn't have to hire 1 million people. The bot would take care of the vast majority of the work because you're only escalating to a person when the bot cannot answer the question. So if you suddenly get 900,000 people asking for a password change, the bot is going to feed them the information, whereas with the contact center solution, you would have to deal with 900,000 calls into your contact center. You can now free resources for higher value tasks and do more with your existing staff. You can also increase the Net Promoter Score because people value fast resolutions and will talk to their circle of influence about it. You can save millions in operation cost by automatizing a lot of tasks and also by being protected from heavy spikes on customer support requests. You can also reduce the human dependence. You can keep humans for the value-add solutions, for the skilled answers, and have the machine do the things that were formerly done by very low-skilled personnel using pre-written scripts. You can provide consistent experiences across desktop and mobile, in your website, and on social networks. You can also provide process compliance for some industries where you need to keep data confidential because everything that you can answer with the bot is something that doesn't require another person to know, so it's even better. And finally, you can make it look like an experienced human within weeks. The bot will learn from the new questions, it will make relationships between the questions and the answers, and within weeks it will be able to respond quickly to whatever the user has to say. That's the advantage of using an artificial intelligence like the one from IBM Watson. Once you realize the potential of Live Support's digital cognitive agent, It's very easy to extrapolate use cases for many industry verticals, from driving customers through a product selection process to helping them select the right medical specialist based on their symptoms, from allowing them to change stock investments conversationally with the bot to facilitating rearrangement of air tickets upon an unexpected cancellation. Plenty of industries can benefit from this model. For the next wrapper, we took the live support model and gave it a different spin for customers that like what live support can offer, but they would prefer their users to connect using a mobile application instead of coming to a website and clicking on a menu. And we call the result Truck Roll. Truck Roll is very similar to live support. In fact, the agent control is the same as live support, and the administration web portal is very similar to the one you use for live support, but the origination is based on a mobile interface, because we're trying to provide a tool that lets a business avoid real truck rolls. With our truck roll application, they don't have to send a real person on site to solve an issue, whether it's a first visit or a follow-up intervention that is the result of sending a technician and finding something unexpected that they don't know how to solve and requires a second, more experienced technician. Truck roll includes a mobile application for Android and iOS that works on smartphones and tablets and allows customers or field support staff to connect directly to an expert that's going to help them solve the issue. The users can share their camera to show what's going on, the problem that they're facing, and the agent can help them remotely. In the end, it's very similar to live support, but the ingress mode is different, and there are some customers that may prefer this mode instead of a website-based model. Live support also works on mobile devices, natively on Android using Chrome as a browser and on iOS by means of a downloadable application, but Truck Roll assumes the interaction is originated on the mobile directly, for example for field support staff, or also as a link delivered by customer service to the user's mobile, using a text message or an email, for example. Truck Roll also includes an agent console that lets agents use a web browser to provide support. But they can also use a tablet such as an Android tablet using Google Chrome or an iPad using a native Truck Roll agent application. On this flow, you can see an example of how a Truck Roll interaction would go for customer support. You can have the users requesting technical support, and they can come into your contact center by means of a regular phone call, and when your agent considers it appropriate to go to a visual experience, they can offer to send a link via email or SMS. The user then clicks on the link, and if it's the first time using it, the link will automatically take them to the App Store to download the Truck Roll application. Once installed, clicking the received link automatically triggers the application and connects to the agent's queue. Once the agent accepts the connection, the visual experience is started, and the user can now share the front or the back camera on their device. The agent can also push files, links, or other support materials to the user. Once the issue is resolved, the user can be presented with a quick survey to provide feedback. As we mentioned before, there are two different scenarios for Truck Roll. On the right, you have the external approach, where a customer is asking for support and with a value proposition that is similar to live support. But the one that we think is more valuable is the internal approach. In this model, you may have your own technicians equipped with the Truck Roll application whenever they go to an on-site installation. And if they find a problem that they cannot resolve, they can quickly use the tool to call an expert. The expert can then see through their camera and can provide a higher level of support. This way, they can get the problem solved, and the business avoids having to send a second Truck Roll that's going to cost extra money. As you can see here, the Truck Roll agent console is almost the same as live support, nearly identical, and the agent experience is almost the same. The only difference here is that with live support, people are going to be coming mostly from the website, and with Truck Roll, they're going to be coming from a mobile application. Also, as we mentioned before, you can also have agents connecting with a tablet or even through a smartphone to provide support in any situation. For example, for field support, the expert may not be a person sitting in an office, but a more senior worker that is on another on-site activity. To wrap things up, let's review Truck Roll's value proposition. First of all, you can reduce the cost of dispatching field service personnel, whether it's on the first engagement or on a subsequent visit resulting from the technician's inability to solve the problem the first time. Second, it is very easy to implement. For the agent, it's just a website or perhaps another app they have to run in their tablet. For the user, it's just another app they have to install on the mobile phone and just click on it. It is cost effective. It can be overlaid on top of an existing contact center just like live support. There is no need to replace the business infrastructure, and it's WebRTC based, so there is no need to pay for additional toll-free charges. It's all IP to IP. Also, you don't have to buy any infrastructure or any equipment. Everything is used from the cloud and can work both on the web and on the mobile devices, including iOS and Android. And finally, it covers the main goals of the business, increasing the satisfaction of their customers while trying to reduce the cost required to keep them satisfied. For small and medium businesses, Kandy offers a second-line mobile solution called Business Phone. Business Phone is focused on providing affordable second-line services. It provides users, normally individual professionals or very small companies, with a second-line service that runs on their mobile device. It gives them a business phone line through a mobile application that includes an auto-attendant functionality, text messaging from their business phone number, including audio and pictures, and also includes some mini CRM features to keep track of the customers and incoming calls. Business Phone fits multiple market segments. The first option is the individual professional version. Then we have an agency version, where individual professionals can have their own phone number. The agency retains the ownership of the number if some agent leaves. For example, if you're a realtor and you work for a real estate agency and you decide to move to a competitor, you're not going to take the customers with you because the real estate agency is going to keep the business phone number and can assign it to a different agent. There is also an SMB variant where you can have a single business line shared with up to 4 people and also share notes and messages. This version includes the Kandy Visual Attendant wrapper to expose the auto attendant choices on the business website. And finally, for service providers, it can also be bridged with a landline. Business Phone for individual professionals is the main flavor of the application. It is a second line that's delivered by means of a smartphone application. Now, contrary to other competing solutions in the market, Business Phone uses your mobile voice plan to make and receive calls. It doesn't use a data plan. It's not voice over IP. The calls are going to be received over the regular cellular network. They're going to be sent over the same network, and the application will use advanced signaling mechanisms to make the call happen and keep your personal phone number concealed by showing your business phone number every time you call. When you receive a call, it's going to come as a regular phone call, but the application is going to know that it comes from your business phone line, and it's going to show you a different ringtone and a visual alert. When you make an outgoing call, you're going to dial the call from the business phone dialer, and the business phone service is going to deliver a number to your app that it will dial automatically over your carrier's voice plan. And when that call gets into the network, it reaches the business phone service and gets connected to the number you initially dialed. This may sound convoluted, but the user doesn't get to see the complexity, and the main advantage of doing it this way is that as a user, you don't have to have great data coverage or use an expensive data plan. The signaling works on 2G speeds, so even if you have used your monthly data plan and your carrier has reduced your speed to a crawl, the signaling still goes through and the calls are going to be happening over the voice network. Also, you can get a post-call pop-up when you finish a call with a business customer to take annotations. For example, to call the person later, or to send them a proposal, or to file that as an emergency task. And you also get an auto attendant so that you can answer business calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a professional manner. And we give you the tools to configure business hours to protect your weeknights, weekends, and holidays and have the system handle out-of-hour calls automatically. If you are a small business, you can deploy the SMB flavor of Business Phone. Business Phone SMB gives you all the capabilities of Business Phone for individual professionals, plus the possibility to share the business phone number with 4 people in your company. You can even assign the service to a landline to receive the business calls and use the Business Phone web portal to dial calls out by using a ring back to the landline. Another advantage of the SMB solution is that it provides synchronization between messaging and notes, so if one of your employees using the business phone number is having a text conversation with the customer and another employee needs to follow up or continue the conversation, they can go into the messages and they can see the whole messaging conversation that happened previously, and they can resume it. Also, if one employee collected customer notes using the mini CRM features that we mentioned before, the other business users can see those notes and they can add to them. It's not a full-fledged CRM, but it gives small businesses enough information to allow them to run a very small business efficiently. As you can see in these screenshots, the look and feel of the application is very contemporary. On the left, we have a screenshot of the dialer and the messaging conversations. In the middle, we can see the business contact list. And then on the right-hand side, we can see how you can configure your own call logs and your ringtones, and also what the call notes would look like. And as we mentioned previously, if you get the SMB version, you also get the Kandy Visual Attendant wrapper to put your auto attendant options as a button on your website. And that concludes Lesson 3. Thank you for watching.